All right, it's time to keep it real. Who was to blame for the Cowboys' run defense? What's good, people? It's your boy, Mr. Rome, Cowboys Fan Talk, right back. Like I never left. What's going on with y'all, man? Listen, before I get into the content, let me just say thank y'all for y'all recent support. During the month of June, during the dead period, y'all been showing up for your boy, and I appreciate y'all. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button. If you back like you never left, I appreciate you. Now, let's talk about this run defense. We're going to have a real discussion, a real hard-hitting discussion. Now, I know, like I said, it's the dead period. Not a lot of Cowboys news. We are revisiting things. We're going over things. This is the time where you reassess stuff. Not just as a content creator, as a fan, as players, you know what I'm saying? You're sharpening your skills before the season starts. So this ain't the time for you to really take a break fully. It's the time to reassess yourself. You know, get better at some things, make some changes, switch up the thumbnails, do whatever you need to do. But I got a question to the team, and this is for any players that might watch this, any fans that will watch this. Whose fault was the run defense? And no, let's not do the low-hanging. It was Mozzie Smith's fault. Okay, if you want to run with that, that's fine. But let's have a real discussion. And I got this idea from John Owning. Shout out to John Owning. And shout out to Brian Broadus, who sparked this thought process a couple weeks ago. I'll read this tweet from John Owning. It sparked the thought process on this verbatim. I'll put it on the screen so you can read it, screenshot it, go to the Twitter, do your thing. I've heard Brian Broadus talk a lot in recent weeks, months about how the blame for the Dallas run defense woes needs to be spread out more evenly between defensive tackle, edge, linebacker, DBs. And while I still believe the DTs deserve the most blame, like I said, blame it on Mozzie if you want to, because their issues create the tougher environments for the other positions against the run. That's a fact. Brian Broadus is correct. They aren't solely to blame, as the other spots deserve their fair share. In 2024, and this is the thing that provoked me to think, okay, let's get it some thought. And the main reason is because I don't want our other positions to feel like, once we get a defensive tackle, everything will be perfect. Everybody got to raise their level of play. Let's keep talking. In 2024, Dallas's defensive tackles recorded the third worst PFF run defense grade and ranked last in positive grade rate among the 32 teams. Last in defensive tackle. So yes, it's a big issue. We're not done. We should go get another defensive tackle. We just should. All right. Dallas's edges had the fourth worst PFF run grade in the highest negative grade rate. Oddly, 10th highest positive grade rate, which is confusing. But we also had so many injuries at edge last year. I'll talk about that more in a second. Dallas's linebackers generated the 6th worst PFF run grade and had the 29th highest positive grade rate. Dallas's DBs posted the 2nd worst PFF run grade and had the 5th highest negative grade and the 6th lowest positive grade rate. Now, y'all know John Owning works with PFF, so there's no confusion about why he's using PFF. If you hate PFF grades, you're probably like, I do not care, Rome. I get it. But listen, I'm saying some of this stuff so we can kind of get an understanding, and we'll talk further. Let me just read this other tweet from him. Also, an interesting note, in 2023, with the healthy D-Law, Dallas's edges had the 4th highest run defense grade and ranked 2nd in positive grade rate. Losing him for much of last season had a huge loss. Need someone to step up and opposite Micah versus the run this year. That's a fact. Marshawn Nealon, Peyton Turner, those are our run specialist defensive ends. But Micah got to raise his level of play as well against the run. And whether it's Dante Fowler, who had a high grade rate last year, a high graded for PFF, whether it's Donovan Ezraku or Sam Williams, stopping the run is paramount. No excuses for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Now, my brother DMV, shout out to DMV, had a great point. And this is where we're going to carry our second part of this conversation. Sounds like everybody, and he's responding to John Owning. Sounds like everybody, but the question is, why is everybody? Could it be the revolving door at defensive coordinator? We've had multiple defensive coordinators in that: Mike Nolan, Dan Quinn, Mike Zimmer. Now we're the Eberflus. Philosophies. You got stack and shed as far as defensive tackles, like, you know, two gapping. You got attacking and disruption that Dan Quinn was preaching. Just a lot of differences. And the personnel not really meshing because it's different personnel once every year. Hard to tell. Hopefully Eberflus can figure it out. And I agree. And that's where I wanted to talk to y'all. So please, I would love some discussion in the comments if you wouldn't mind. Who do you think is to blame? Because I'm kind of leaning towards Brian Broaddus when he said it's everybody. Yes, Deron Bland, Kalen Carson, Trayvon Diggs when he gets back, Sharon Revel, all of y'all. Well, not it wasn't y'all fault last year, but everyone needs to raise their level of play and come in and play physical. Now, the two corners that are hurt, Diggs and Revel, we'll see y'all when y'all get back. But people that were here last year, there is no excuse. All linebackers, no excuse. Damone Clark, Maris Louisville, you was here. Demarion Overshawn is hurt. That's why Sanborn, right? You know what I'm saying? And who else is going to be out there this year? What is the gentleman's name that we got from Tennessee? Kenneth Murray, Shamar James, Buddy Johnson, Overshawn, you get back. Damian Harris, Darius Harris, I'm sorry. Raise your level of play. Solomon Thomas, Oso Digizua, you got to be better versus the run. Like, I know I'm just naming names, but my point is, we can't, and this is the thing I wanted to just say, we cannot allow any of those players I just named, to go into this season thinking that we're one defensive tackle away from being a great run defense. We can bring in a great defensive tackle, but if those other positions, those other players, corner, linebacker, edge rushers, don't come to play too, we're just going to have a stout defensive tackle room and look terrible, and they're just going to run on the edges. Toss sweep because our corners don't want to tackle. Like, everyone has to get it. The physicality, the energy has to be lifted. Now, I have faith that Eberflus and his run philosophy are really going to change things here because he hasn't had a bad run defense since he's been coaching. Back when he was our linebackers coach, better run defense. It hasn't been that good since he's left. Great run defense with the Colts, literally from the 20s to the top 10. Great run defense with the Bears. His philosophy, his technique that he preaches, it works. And I can't wait to see it work for us because we just haven't had a good run defense in so long. But I refuse to just sit back and just be like, you know what? Go get a DJ Reader reset. No, DJ Reader wouldn't just fix this. He would make things a lot better. No. Everyone got to play better. Yes, Mozzie Smith too. And go get a good player. Why can't we do both? Why do we always have to have one or the other? Why do we always say, yo, we need y'all to raise y'all level of play? How about you go get good players and they play hard and the technique and the skill and the scheme, everything is raised. It shouldn't be one or the other. But please let me know in the comments how y'all feel. I really do feel like we can't just sit idly by and blame this on one position group. But to be clear, I am not saying don't go get a defensive tackle. I need to be clear. Anybody that got to this end of the video, please write in the comments, I want a defensive tackle. Yes, go get one still. Please, to be clear, because some of y'all going to be like, you trying to take the no. Mozzie and the rest of the defensive tackles, the one techs, got to play better. But we can't just keep giving the rest of the players a pass if they're not going to play better. This is such a big year for the Cowboys. It's so many things that got to look differently than they did last year. Last year was just a bad year. Felt like bad luck was running around this franchise. But we're going to see. I just feel like I agree with Brian Broaddus. It's more than just the defensive tackles. I also agree with John Owning and my brother DMV. It's bigger than just saying everybody else got to lift it. Everyone else does have to lift their level of play. Coaches got to lift their level of coaching. This is a group effort. All right. But look, man, y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I got a video coming for y'all I've been working on that I'll probably drop tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah. Y'all see. Aha.